Welcome to the session on preservatives and the study of quality parameters and analysis. So this session belongs to second semester M Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Analysis. Subject Cosmetic Analysis and Evaluation belongs to the Unit 5. Coming to contents, what we are going to discuss in this session include introduction, classification, preservatives in cosmetics, quality parameters of cosmetics, and analysis of preservatives. In introduction, we are going to discuss about general introduction about preservatives in cosmetic products or cosmetic industry. Next, second one is classification. Means here we have discussed, we have presented various subsections of preservatives that are being commonly used in cosmetic industry, food industry, as well as pharmaceutical industry. Coming to the third part, preservatives in cosmetics. In this section, we are going to see classification of preservatives that are commonly being used. It means mostly these preservatives are commonly used in cosmetic industry. Next section includes quality parameters, where we are going to see list of general quality parameters of preservatives. And at last, analysis of preservatives. So different types of analytical methods of various categories of preservatives we are going to see. That is analysis of preservatives used in cosmetic industry. So now let us start one by one. Introduction to preservatives in cosmetics. Cosmetic and beauty products are made up of ingredients that are biodegradable. Means by the action of microbial organisms or microbes results in the degradation of the product. So this means microbes can easily break those cosmetic and beauty products into the degradable, break down them into metabolites. Now this causes a product to become unpleasant and unsafe for the customers. So in order to prevent biodegradation of the cosmetic and beauty product and making it unpleasant and unsafe for customers, some ingredient need to be added into this cosmetic products in order to preserve them for longer duration of time. So for this purpose, we are using a substance called preservative. So now let us see the definition of preservative. What is preservative? Preservatives are the substances which may be added to cosmetic products to prevent undesirable growth of microorganisms like molds, yeast, and bacteria. Preservatives use is especially important in water-based products because water is the ideal environment for the growth of microorganisms. So definitely one should use without fail preservatives in water-based products. So examples of preservatives, commonly seen preservatives include parabens, formaldehyde, donas, phenols, alcohols, etc. So if we see, for example, in order to show preservatives in various cosmetic products, first let us consider shampoo. In this shampoo, if you see in its label, here they had mentioned citric acid, which is a preservative. Benzyl alcohol is also a preservative. Triclosan is also a preservative. So three preservatives have been used in one of the shampoo, and in another shampoo, methyl chloroisothiazolinone, methyl isothiazolinone. So these are the two preservatives that were used. Let us see another example of cosmetic product like lipsticks, hair gel. If you see one of the lipstick in which ascorbate palmitate which is a salt form of ascorbic acid, and there is citric acid also present in it, and tocopherol. So all these three ingredients belongs to preservative category. Another lipstick brand in which tocopherol is present in the form of its salt form. Propyl paraben is another preservative that has been used. Now coming to another brand, here we can see DM hidden toin, one of the commonly using preservative in cosmetic products. And if you see here also same DM hidden toin has been used, and there is alcohol also. So these are all the commonly using preservatives in cosmetic products. Now let us continue the introduction to preservatives in cosmetics. We need to discuss ideal properties of preservatives. So in order to use in cosmetic products, preservatives should have some ideal properties that include: it should not be irritant, preservative should not be toxic, and it should not be it should be physically and chemically stable. It should be compatible with other ingredients used in the formulation. It should possess a wide spectrum of activity against bacteria, against fungal species also. It should be potent. Here there is a spelling mistake. This is, it should be potent. It should be potent. And next ideal property: preservative should maintain its activity throughout the product manufacturing, shelf life, and usage. So during the process of manufacturing of the cosmetic product, when preservative was added into the formulation, from that moment of addition of preservative into the formulation, it should show its activity. And at the same time, shelf life. When the product was manufactured, packed, and it was transported to the outlet where it is being preserved in shelves. So until the customer buys the product, the personnel will store it in the premises of that outlet. So during that storage also, preservative should show its activity. It should be active enough. When the customer buys the product and starts to use by opening uh, the packaging material, so after usage also, so as within single use, the cosmetic product doesn't complete. It may be consumed by the customer by 1 month, within 6 months, or within a year. So depends upon its shelf life, depends upon its expiry until it reaches to its expiry date. During that time, up to that time, the preservative should show its activity. So now let us see the classification of preservatives. This is the general and common classification of preservatives. Basically, preservatives are classified into two categories: antimicrobial preservatives and antioxidant preservatives. Antimicrobial preservatives contains structurally diversified categories, which includes parabens, organic acids and their salts, formaldehyde releasers, isothiazolinone derivatives, amines, amides and quaternary salts containing derivatives, phenols and their derivatives, and finally alcohols and their derivatives. These are the various sub-classifications of antimicrobial preservatives. Coming to antioxidant preservatives, below we can see the examples like citric acid, gallic acid, butylated hydroxytoluene, butylated hydroxyanisole, retinol, beta carotene, tocopherol, and ascorbic acid. So these are all the examples of antioxidant preservatives. So now we will see the classification of antimicrobial preservatives. Antimicrobial preservatives again further sub-classified into 7 categories. So those includes parabens. Examples of parabens include methyl paraben, ethyl paraben, propyl paraben, butyl paraben. This paraben in the sense para hydroxy benzoic acid derivatives, esters of para-hydroxy benzoic acids are called as parabens. Second category, organic acids and their salts like benzoic acid, sorbic acid, benzyl benzoate. Esters are also categorized under this organic acids, salts, and their esters. Benzoic acid example, sorbic acid as an example, benzyl benzoate is also an example of antimicrobial preservative. Next, coming to formaldehyde releasers, formalin. So formalin is nothing but a formaldehyde, DM hydantoin, imidazolidinyl urea, diazolidinyl urea. So these are the examples of formaldehyde releases. Next, isothiazolinones. Isothiazolinones contain examples methyl isothiazolinone, methyl chloroisothiazolinone. Coming to amines, amides, pyridines, and benzalkonium salts, or simply we can call them as quaternary salts. Examples include tricloban, hexamidine, cetylpyridinium chloride, and benzalkonium chloride. It's coming to phenols and their derivatives. Examples include phenol, parachlorometacresol, and triclosan. Alcohols and their derivatives include benzyl alcohol, chlorobutanol, and phenoxyisopropanol. Now these are the general classification of preservatives. Now we will see specific preservatives that are being commonly using in cosmetic industry. So in that, 5 categories were commonly being used in cosmetic industry. So those include parabens, formaldehyde releasers, isothiazolinones, phenoxyethanols, and organic acids and their derivatives. So under parabens, already we know examples methyl paraben, ethyl paraben, propyl and butyl paraben. Under formaldehyde releasers, DM hydantoin, imidazolidinyl urea, diazolidinyl urea are the commonly using formaldehyde releasers. Coming to isothiazolinones, only 2 examples are present: methyl isothiazolinone and methyl chloroisothiazolinone. Then phenoxyethanols, phenoxyethanol compound itself is an example under that category. And coming to organic acids, benzoic acid, sorbic acid, levulinic acid, and anisic acid. So these are the examples of preservatives that are commonly in use currently in cosmetic industry. Now we will see quality parameters of preservatives. Means in order to determine quality of a preservative, how many parameters or how many tests are there to ascertain the quality of preservatives. So now let us see one by one the list of quality parameters. Already the procedures how to perform all these tests were discussed in unit 2 itself, and even in unit 4 also it's been discussed. So basically these parameters are combination of physical analysis, chemical analysis, as well as instrumental analysis. It's a combination of all the tests included in this quality parameters. Those include appearance, how the preservative looks like, what is the state, what is its color, what is its odor. So all this comes under appearance. Next, coming to assay, determination of how much quantity of said preservative is present in a given preservative sample. So that is assay. It is nothing but determination of the preservative itself. Next, loss on drying, alkalinity, acidity. Means how much amount of acid is required to neutralize the given preservative. Next, acidity. If acid derivatives are present, then we can see the acidity. Heavy metals, test for heavy metals, test for lead, test for arsenic. Identification test through a certain specific chemical reactions, pH value of a particular concentrated solution. Identification, same, this one. Melting range, melting point of those preservatives. Refractive index, specific gravity, instrumental methods, physico-instrumental methods. Specific gravity, residue of evaporation, residue on ignition, peroxide value, determination of sulfated ash, and determination of freezing point. So these are all the quality parameters that need to be quantified for preservative or employed for the ascertaining of quality of preservatives. So now we will see analysis of preservatives. How we are going to analyze these preservatives, especially by considering instrumental methods of analysis. Earlier we had discussed about physical properties, chemical properties, and physico-instrumental properties. Now these analysis of preservatives that are being used to ascertain the quality of the preservatives in cosmetic industry in general includes, for antimicrobial preservatives, techniques employed are thin layer chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, capillary electrophoresis, flow injection analysis, spectrophotometric method, titrimetric methods, electrochemical methods. For antioxidant preservatives, thin layer chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, capillary electrophoresis, flow injection analysis, spectrophotometric methods, titrimetric methods, electrochemical methods, and specific methods for few antioxidant preservatives, chemiluminescence methods, fluorimetric methods. And for both kinds of preservatives like antimicrobial as well as antioxidant preservatives categories, one common test is present that is called as preservative efficacy test, or simply we can call it as antimicrobial effectiveness test also. It's nothing but biological study. So now let us see the analysis of preservatives of different categories. So first we will see with analysis of preservatives of parabens like methyl paraben, ethyl paraben, propyl and butyl parabens. So how we can analyze these preservatives? First we had seen quality parameters, then we entered into the analytical part of these preservatives where we are using instruments majorly. So first technique for analysis of preservatives include thin layer chromatography. So in order to perform thin layer chromatography, the parabens need to be extracted, means extraction of acidified sample with methanol, followed by separation of the extracts by thin layer chromatography by using aluminum oxide and silica coated plates using a developing solvent, that is nothing but mobile phase. And later, once development was completed, then visualization need to be done. So visualization of the preservatives on plates can be performed using short UV light and detection reagents. Through chemical detection also we can analyze the preservatives. So this is one method. Next method is capillary electrophoresis. Capillary electrophoresis is one of the recent methods in which this method of analysis can be used to separate ionic species based on their size to charge ratio in the interior of a small capillary filled with an electrolyte. So based on their electric charges and size, so the ionic species will separate either to anode or to cathode based on their charge to size ratio. So fused capillary column and applied voltages of 22, 25, 27 and 30 kilovolts respectively will be used for capillary electrophoresis. And this electric voltages is dependent on the type of the sample that one is using. So in general, commonly we will use the range of voltages starting from 22 to 30 kilovolts. After this, a detection need to be performed by employing UV detectors at 220 nanometers. So UV detection need to be carried out at 220 nanometers, and this also varies according to the sample. Some may be at 205, some may be at 258, some may be at 275. It depends on the nature of the sample. Next one is high performance liquid chromatography. So it's a separation technique. Through the separation technique, one can able to identify a preservative present in the given sample. So in this, regular or silanol deactivated C18 or C8 columns coupled with UV detection are the most commonly employed instrumentation for analysis of parabens. So nowadays, reverse phase HPLC methods are also being reported numerously for analysis of preservatives. The next one is gas chromatography. The technique of gas chromatography. So in this, first what we need to do, we need to convert these parabens into the analyzable sample that can be suitable to carry out gas chromatography technique. So for this, we need to change chemically the parabens. So now parabens will be subjected to extraction. Once the parabens got extracted, and those will be deactivated by the reaction with hexamethyl disilazane and heptafluorobutyric anhydride. So once the deactivation will be completed, it is nothing but derivatization. So then it should be subjected to gas chromatography method for determination. Next method is flow injection analysis. So this is an automated method in which the sample is injected into a continuous flow of a carrier solution that mixes with other continuously flowing solutions before reaching the detector. So this is the common methodology that is present in flow injection analysis, based on the fact that parabens greatly enhance the chemiluminescence reaction between the cerium-4 rhodamine system in strong sulfuric acid. So this method has very low detection limits and wide dynamic range. Next, coming to spectrophotometric methods, the commonly using methods include UV visible spectrophotometry and colorimetric method at particular nanometers. So the sample can be analyzed in order to know the absorption of the radiation. Next category of preservatives include organic acids, their salts and esters. The instrumentation methods of analysis for organic acids, salts and their esters include thin layer chromatography, capillary electrophoresis, high performance liquid chromatography, spectrophotometric methods and electrochemical methods. So earlier we had seen all these four, so I am not repeating again. So we need to refer back the analysis of preservatives of parabens. Same information need to be provided here also. Coming to electrochemical methods, sorbic acid and parabens were determined by colorimetric technique, where the sample is made to undergo an electrochemical reaction by completely converting the analyte from one oxidation state to another with 100% current efficiency. So that is, the number of coulombs required to carry out a chemical reaction is measured in this method. So that is electrochemical method, and this is the list of analytical techniques for preservatives of organic acids, salts and their esters. So next category of preservatives, amines, amides, pyridines and quaternary salts. So for this, the list of tests include thin layer chromatography, capillary electrophoresis, high performance liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, flow injection analysis, spectrophotometric methods, titrimetric methods. For thin layer chromatography, yellowish brown spots on a colorless background will be seen under UV densitometry. So this is the color indication for this category of preservatives. Next, coming to gas chromatography, volatility problem with these class of preservatives. So pyrolysis is compulsory utilized before proceeding for gas chromatography. So for this, the benzyl, we are taking an example of this one, quaternary salt, benzalkonium chloride. So benzalkonium chloride treated with potassium tertiary butoxide and extracted using benzene. Once it has been extracted, the extract was analyzed on Se30 column and the produced alkyl homologues were quantified. So these alkyl homologues are nothing but quaternary ammonium salts, which can be converted back to tertiary amines. So there won't be any sort of charges now. The quaternary ammonium salts got converted into tertiary amines, then it is subjected to gas chromatography technique. Next, coming to titrimetric methods. So for determination of quaternary ammonium compounds, titrimetric methods majorly, as we are discussing here about amines, amides, pyridines, and quaternary salts. So majorly, we will use acid-base titrations like charge-relevant titrations. So for determination of quaternary ammonium compounds, titrometric analysis is commonly used. These methods are based on the positive charge. As we are discussing about quaternary ammonium, it will be having positive charge. So these positively charged compounds need to be titrated against negatively charged titrants. So these methods are based on the positive charge compound with negatively charged titrants in the reaction. Now endpoints were detected potentiometrically or using visual indicators. So either we can use potentiometry or we can use indicators by adding before starting of the titration, which will give a sharp color change at the end point. So next category of preservatives include alcohols. Alcohols will be analyzed for their quality aspects by using thin layer chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, spectrophotometric methods. In that, UV spectrophotometry is highly specific. Electrochemical methods include amperometric method as well as polarographic catalytic wave method. So in these electrochemical methods, an amperometric enzyme electrode was developed for the determination of alcohols. This method is based on immobilizing alcohol oxidase in polyenyl ferrocenium matrix coated on a platinum electrode. Then amperometric response was measured at plus 0.7 volts. Coming to polarographic catalytic wave, this method is based on oxidation of benzyl alcohol into benzaldehyde using peroxy disulfate. So the produced catalytic wave was linear to benzyl alcohol concentration. So by this way, through electrochemical method, preservatives belonging to alcohols category can be analyzed. So next category is preservatives belonging to phenols category. The tests include thin layer chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, flow injection analysis, spectrophotometric methods, and electrochemical methods. So in this gas chromatography, derivatization of phenols with pentafluoropyridine followed by adsorption of the derivatives on anion exchange solid phase cartridge, and this will be determined by gas chromatography mass spectrometry. Spectrophotometric methods, UV visible spectrophotometry as well as colorimetric methods can be used for determination of phenols. And coming to electrochemical methods, only amperometric method is advisable to carry out analysis of phenol preservatives. The next test, that is common test for all the preservatives, that is microbial study, where it is also called as preservative efficacy test, in short PET, antimicrobial effective test. So this test involves challenging a product with a defined number of colony forming units of a variety of test microorganisms. So those microorganisms include bacteria, mold, and yeast. Examples of the test organisms include Candida albicans, Aspergillus brasiliensis, Escherichia coli, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and Staphylococcus aureus. And the media for culturing of these organisms include soybean casein digest medium and Sovorad dextrose agar medium. So one will be used for culturing of fungus, one will be used for culturing of bacteria. The composition of soybean casein digest medium include pancreatic digest of casein 17 grams per liter, sodium chloride 5 grams per liter, papaik digest of soybean meal 3 grams, potassium hydrogen phosphate 2.5 grams, glucose 2.5 grams, and the pH of the medium at 25 degrees centigrade should be between 7.3 plus or minus 0.2. And once the medium is prepared, it should be stored between 8 to 25 degrees centigrade. So coming to Saborad dextrose agar medium, the components include mycological peptone 10 grams per liter, dextrose 40 grams per liter, agar 15 grams per liter. The pH of the prepared medium at 25 degrees centigrade should be 5.6 plus or minus 0.2, and it should be stored between 8 to 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. If the sample is commercially available, which is in the form of dehydrated medium, then it should be stored between 8 to 25 degrees centigrade. This Saborad dextrose agar medium commercially available, so that should be stored between 8 to 25 degrees centigrade. If we are preparing in the laboratory and if it is containing water, so then we need to store it at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. Next, starting with the procedure, how to perform this microbial study. First, we need to prepare inoculum. So after that, we need to proceed for counting of the colonies. So first we will start with preparation of inoculum. So first, preparatory to the test, inoculate the medium from a recent stock culture of each of the specified microorganisms. Escherichia coli, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and Staphylococcus aureus are inoculated in Saborad dextrose agar medium and incubated at 32.5 plus or minus 2.5 degrees centigrade for 3 to 5 days. Coming to the fungal species, Candida albicans and Aspergillus brasiliensis are introduced in soybean casein digest medium and incubated at 22.5 plus or minus 2.5 degrees centigrade for 3 to 5 days. And for Candida albicans and 3 to 7 days for Aspergillus brasiliensis. So for these two strains, so different days of incubation need to be performed. After this specified incubation period completed, the microbial culture is harvested by washing with sterile saline to obtain a microbial count of about 1 into 10 power 5 to 10 power 6 CFU per ml. So coming to the procedure, test can be conducted in 5 containers. So we can use the original containers of the preservatives, or we can sample the preservative from the original container and we can select a suitable sized containers to perform this microbial study. So 5 containers need to be utilized to conduct the test and inoculate each container with one of the prepared and standardized inoculum and mix. Means in each and every container, one strain of microorganism need to be inoculated. So now incubate containers between, after taking the sample, now incubate containers between 22.5 plus or minus 2.5 degrees centigrade in incubator. Sampling should be done at specified intervals like 7 days, 14 days and 28 days. So this also depends on the strain and the sample that we are going to use. So now record any changes in appearances of the product at these intervals. To determine the number of viable microorganisms per ml present at each of the sampling intervals by the plate count method. Now report the results according to the criteria given in the protocols. So when it comes to bacteria, not less than 1 log reduction from the initial count at 14 days and no increase from 14 days count up to 28 days. So from the first day to up to 14 days, there should be initial count need to be recorded. So from 14 days to 28 days, there should not be increase in count of the bacteria. Next, coming to yeast and molds, no increase from the initial calculated count at 14 and 28 days. So this is the pictorial presentation of the method microbial study. First what we did, first we prepared inoculum. Once inoculum is ready after incubation for 3 to 7 days and 3 to 5 days, So once inoculum is ready for all 5 different microorganisms, then those need to be sampled into the containers, each individual containers. So after sampling into the containers, then it should be incubated for specified period of time. Then serial dilutions need to be performed, and then there will be plate count method need to be completed. So this is the common test for all the preservatives. So with this, we have completed the topic preservatives in cosmetic industry, how they are being analyzed and what are the various quality parameters. Thank you.